Hello everyone and welcome back to English 1510, Composition 1 at OCC. This is the A1235 online asynchronous course of the 12-week semester. We are here in week 11, rounding the corner to the end of the term. Couple of announcements here at the opening. Everyone from the rhetorical analysis content was already posted. I'm now posting the remainder of the things. Remember, it's draft credit on the rhetorical analysis rough draft and the final drafts that were due last week. I'm working to post both those and the memoir final drafts right around the same time through the remainder of this week. I have a number of students, unfortunately it just had to be this way. I did not have access to the grading platform until the 10th for a lot of these. And then there was one more day over the break for about 6-7 hours where it was down again. And then I had to reload some of the things on Sunday, Friday and Sunday that just passed. But I did get everyone's up and done. So I have a few more students that I still have to post those. There'll be students on the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th that are going to see most of those files all post at once, including the full feedback file on the memoir final draft. On those, I did not take points away the same way that I would had you had feedback files prior to that. But for rhetorical analysis, I did start marking those accordingly, particularly into the rough and final draft stages there, especially for students who did not do discussion board things. I'm not doing a discussion board for the research piece we're doing here at the end, but we did them for the class introductions. You had it for memoir, and then you had it just for rhetorical analysis. I had 17 students out of 24 do all of it in discussion board. I had around 20 of you. I think there are 24 still on roster. I had 20 students that actually posted, 17 that posted and reviewed to classmates, and the rest did not. So we're rounding the corner here on this, guys. For students who have fallen behind in any way throughout this term or just stopped doing work on these situations, I got contact from a few students about some things going on in your own lives and everything else. I think I'm going to offer the opportunity to request a WS grade in this class, which means a withdrawal stopped attending. I'll post that up with week 12 at the end of this week, beginning of next. Remember that any contact is messaging through the instant messaging here at the top. If a student would rather get a WS grade, which means withdrawal stopped attending, as opposed to a failed grade in this class, message me here and let me know. Just tell me, Professor Martin, I would like to request a WS grade. If you know you're not able to complete the final assignments and you just fell off for whatever reason. We have students in this class, my online classes right now, it seems to be similar across the board. Deaths in the family, loss of job, ailments that have been kind of persistent. If that's the case, I've made it a pretty I've gotten to regularly accept that at the end of terms and offered a WS grade to students rather than see you get an F on your marking, particularly for a 6 credit hour course, or a 3 credit hour course, and something that you need for this type of class. And if you are in that situation, tell me here in the messaging that you'd like to request that, and I'll consider it, as long as the majority of the stuff this semester that you either did it in completion or you attempted to with those. If I can make the case for you for a WS, I will definitely consider that rather than putting in an F. On here, I put on I left week 10's post on here, as I stated. I got full access to the grading platform, at least most of it. I was able to access it and put most of the marks on, starting on the 10th. It was a little shaky for a few days after that, and over this weekend there were a couple of days, like I said, in one in particular that I had to reload a bunch of things. But I'm still posting some of the memoir final drafts. A few of you over the last 4 days have just seen everything populate at once. There's nothing much I can do with that, except to say that on those, again, I did not detract points as I would have had you had a feedback file prior. Then with the memoir final draft, if I think there's a rewrite needed, I took points away and marked that accordingly with both marks on the page and an audio file. Most of you got audio files on one, if not several, of the items that came back or are coming back. There might still be 3 or 4 students whose content, the feedback things, post on the 29th or 30th. but I should have everything done before the 29th. I just have a couple of files here that I'm still having a few issues with. I'm working to get them up as fast as possible. In the meantime, continue moving forward. Rhetorical analysis, final drafts. Everyone, I got majority of those submitted last week. For those of you who sent me the request things on here, I approved, and then I got a couple more today with the one with the issue with work, and then the other, someone had a sick child they were dealing with at home. Go ahead and put those in. I'll look at the drafts, and as long as everything's there, I will consider not marking it down for the late submission on that. Just make sure that it gets in there. Now, having said that, the discussion board posts, those are done. I'm not opening those up anymore. If you didn't do those, that's going to be a 0 in that category. So this week for 11, we had last week in week 10, everyone had to complete the summary and working thesis that was due on the 20th, and then the piece that was opened up and noted to you guys for this week, the primary points of support. The summary with working thesis was this document here. Everyone had to go into the OCC databases and do peer-reviewed research on the topic of your selection. So again, in the Dropbox for those, I put some selections in that first Dropbox. It's repeated again in this week's Dropbox. These were the different topics that you had to pick from: music therapy, health outcomes and environment, scientific literacy, media literacy, and daily exercise, the importance and benefits of. Most students in this category have decided to go with the mental and physical benefits of daily exercise. That's fantastic. I included a few peer-reviewed articles here that you guys could look through. Remember, if it did this to you when you linked in and it didn't take you to the page, was asking you to log in again, this one might just be taking a while to load. If it does this to you and it continues to keep it where it won't load, you can just do a copy and paste of that title and put it right into the search in Student Services if you want to read through one of these. This one here should come right up if you just search it like this. This is this first item right here, okay? So the thing is, though, guys, on here, let's say you're doing music therapy. We'll go back through that one more time. If any student in this class, you should have already last week gone through, you should have already watched the library overview videos that were under the content file, then gone through the Dropbox. Here I'll go through the primary points of support for this week. Last week was this document, as I said, the summary and working thesis. You were supposed to start researching and pick a topic, start researching and filling out these categories in third-person objective viewpoint, including a working thesis at the end. If you did that, you have the majority of your content here that will be your intro paragraph. The only thing that will be a little bit more expansive will be these two categories once you finish your research and turn this officially into an intro paragraph. The thesis, let's say you decided on health outcomes, benefits of daily exercise, and you said let's say something to the effect of there are a number of physical and mental health benefits of daily exercise. Let's say that was your working thesis. Well, if that's the working thesis, a number of physical and mental health benefits suggests that you're going to have a few body paragraphs talking about physical health benefits and mental health benefits, which would automatically lend itself, if we go to this week's assignment, primary points of support, where you're going to be taking your topic that you selected and continuing that research and filling out this file here. That is this document here, primary points of support. You'll note here that this is going to be topic sentences. I have 3. If you're doing something like that and you need more, you can always put a 4th here. But one of the things would be to automatically just type them out as independent clauses that will work for this type of file. One of the health or physical health benefits, I'll say, physical health benefits of daily exercise is, and you'd start with your first point there. Then if I had I would follow suit in these. Now, I can also do transitional elements here. I could say after my thesis statement there, these are going to be my topic sentences to my body paragraphs. One of the physical health benefits of daily exercise is fill in the blank here. And then down here, I could also have my transitional element and say, in addition to the physical health benefit mentioned above or noted above, one of the mental health benefits, ... and go on with those. Okay, so that would be helpful in that framing. Following that, once you've completed those topic sentences that are going to serve as the topics to those body paragraphs, you'll note that this category here was moving down with the preliminary works cited. The works cited page itself, you're going to be using an initial 10 sources on here. I don't care if they're the same ones from the summary and working thesis. They can be the same exact throughout. The main thing is that now you're submitting to me a preliminary works cited page. You're going to move this heading down to the next page, and you're going to go ahead and start putting your sources in accordingly. Make sure that they are in MLA format. The entirety of the structure of these still has to be Times New Roman 12-point font, double spaced, and every line after the first should be a hanging indent. So if we were to take an item like that first article we were just looking at through the article, the databases in OCC, I go back here and search my topic. Any one of these that I want to pull up, we'll do media literacy. I get an initial listing of these. I have to make sure that I filter for full text, online availability, and peer-reviewed journal only. Once I put those in, I apply those filters. That guarantees the sources that I get have at least been reviewed by 3 experts in the field. We don't want to use anything other than peer-reviewed sourcing. If my first one that I'm going to include on my works cited page is this here, Associations of Health Literacy, Social Media Use, and Self-Efficacy with Health Information Seeking Intentions, I'd click on this one here, and I make sure that I have access to one of the online portals. Sometimes it will make you do an additional login, but right now all I'm concerned with is you giving me the citation. If I'm going to cite this article here, I can use the citation function. We have a copy to citation clipboard here that you can use, but it's automatically going to go to MLA 8th edition. We are currently in the 9th edition. None of you need to concern yourselves with that because it's not in the programming yet. You can do a copy and paste of these and then put them right on to your actual document itself. This is going to show up in Calibria, Cambria. I'm going to select the entry itself, switch it back to Times New Roman. You can do this at once or individually like I just did, and just make sure that every line after the first is a hanging indent. Every entry will look like that, and everyone has to have 10 by Monday. All right. If you have any further questions, guys, let me know. As far as these go, I so far have just around 21 students, I believe, in this course that submitted every bit of it. That means there are 3 or 4 of you that still have not completed that work. Remember, it's not going to be a late allowance on these last pieces. Primary points of support, the summary and working thesis due last week, then the summary primary points of support for this evening, and then next week will be the outline piece. The final week we'll have the essay itself with the abstract, followed by the memoir rewrites. You got any questions, let me know in the instant messaging above.